All right, so tonight I received in my new solenoid that goes on the bottom of the carb on this Kohler from Amazon, like 20 bucks. Looks brand new. Comes with a new ground wire and phenolic washer and all the stuff. When I was looking at where it connects here, some of these wires look a bit suspect, so I'm just loosening it off the old one. I have a pair of vice grips on there to kind of block the gas. I might still lose a little bit here. Probably I will. But I've got a catch can down below. So, but then again, I think that's just rotating the whole thing. So I'll try to set that there. If I remember right, the whole body of the solenoid will rotate and not loosen the threads. Let's try and pull it free here. You can see how that stud just moves with the phenolic base like I was saying earlier, but here at least I can kind of see it. There, that felt like it got it. Yeah, now this whole deal's turning off. There is a little bit of gas here, but hopefully she runs right into my container. Yeah. You can see the black plug fell right off, so that might be a bit of a problem too. I'll try and look around and see if it's inside there. But you can see some of these wires are fairly cooked looking too. So maybe it was just shorting here. It just looks like hell, some of these wires. So maybe the solenoid wasn't all that bad, but for 20 bucks, be done with it. So that is the old one. See here. There's the bowl. That's a little green. Clean that up. That kind of looks like hell. I'm just going to pause this for a second. All right, so here we are. Yeah, you can see that's quite green. I don't know what's making it so green, but it is. I'm going to wipe it out with some paper towel, but it's pretty caked on. So the bowl itself just fits back on, and there's a bit of a O-ring seal at the base. And then when you get your new solenoid, that black thing needs to stay there. That's a seal. And this is a little phenolic washer just to seal the bottom of the bowl so you don't have gas leaking out all over. There it goes. We're starting to get her threaded in there. And I just have a long set of needle nose that let me get in. Just crank her down enough that I don't leak any fuel, and then you can still rotate the body around. So now I just have to put it back on here. So we'll slide the carb back in place. So that's that. The new wire It's got the connector, the plug that goes in there, and then it has a new ground as well as your bullet connector. So I can take that off and it just plugs in there. So I can put the ground on first. So I've just fed it through. There's a bolt for the ground. There's a little like a bit of a Loctite type washer, whatever they call those ones. And this just has to go in here, and that's what holds your base in place. Okay, that feels like it's got started. Can run that down there. This ground bolt, if you have the same exact mower, is an 8mm. You can see it's just going right there beside the carburetor. But then that ends up tightening up the whole mount. There, that's good and tight. Before you get too far, this washer goes on the outside here. It always comes off with the air filter. Oh, and there's a notch on this side, so make sure the notch in the gasket fits the same, so it isn't blocking anything that you need to move. Now, you just need to use these bullet connectors. So then you've got power to your solenoid. And then this end goes right in the bottom of the there it goes. Now we can, before we go too far, if this is all working and I turn the key, you should hear a click from that solenoid, and that's what lets your fuel flow through. Get rid of that old one, and let's just, listen here and see if you hear a click. Okay, I definitely hear the click. I hope you did too. So I took the vice grips off the gas line. We'll get that flowing a little fuel in there. This could be a little tighter. I might zip tie that in place or whatever. But basically at this point, just need to put this air cover back on. The gasket's in place. You can see it sitting on the front here. You see me move that? So then I know it's sealed. So there, that's in place. There's one line there, this hose from the intake goes into the breather. So you got to put that back. And now there's two nuts that are 10mm that go on both sides of the carburetor that just put this filter housing on. There it goes. Let's get these started. Okay, yeah, so those are both started on either side of the carb. And then there is one, I still have the 8mm on my socket, so this is the shouldered bolt that goes in from the top right there. So drop her in place, and then I can get it started by hand. just with the extension and an 8mm. Okay, so now, like I said, those are 8. That one is an 8mm, so I take the 10, that socket off. I've got a 10 here, and then tighten down both sides of the carb housing here, like the air filter housing. So there, everything is back in place. It clicks. So ideally, it'll start right up, but let's just see. Okay, to start this Kohler, you got to hit the foot brake. So I've got that down. I've lever up on choke, and then the key is just below that. You should hear that click again. You can hear it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it looks like it's getting fuel flowing through the filter. There's gas in the tank, not a lot, but there is gas. So it should be getting there. I have had luck before just spraying a little gas down that throat. I might do that quickly and we'll try and start it here. One moment. Okay, so I used the hose, just siphoned a little bit of gas out of the tank, blew it right into the carb to prime it, because maybe it just needs a little love to get started. Hit the foot brake again. Choke's on, and turn the key. Hear the click again. So it does fire if it gets gas. Okay, one more try. I'm not sure why it's so bright here. I'm not sure what's happening with that, but I'm going to try and start it one more time with a choke on. All right, last try. Put a little more gas in. It's on the choke again. Listen for the click. There it is. All right, so maybe there's still something wrong. Maybe it draws better. I've had things that don't like to run without an air filter. I'll put the housing on, but it is firing up, so it's got ignition. It's doing its thing. Just doesn't want to stay running. We're getting closer, but I showed you how to put that solenoid in, and it seems to be fine. I don't see it leaking or anything, so should be good. Okay, thank you very much.